Hello!
Hello. Hi, guys. How are you?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, gosh. I'm supposed to say hello, brains.
Hello? No, do it with your sick voice.
Hello, brains.
Yeah, right?
The cough was not planned.
Let's get the mic a little bit closer.
So, yeah, I am sick. Apparently, that's what happens when you go to a conference with lots of other people.
They call it con crud.
Ooh, that's not a lovely name.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
Really?
Con crud.
Crud? Like, you feel like crud?
It's like whatever is in the air that day. It happens all over.
Got it. I was not prepared for this. But, yeah, I knew that Chloe was getting spayed this week, so I tried to get most of my work done ahead of time, but I'm having a hard time with this metaphors episode. I did that vlog where I was like super excited about it, and then like immediately got terrified because I'm like, oh my god, on this channel I've never done an episode explaining what ADHD is, and like what if I explain it wrong, and what if I make it sound too terrible, or what if I make it sound too positive, or like what if I make it too scientific or not scientific enough, and I'm just like really having writer's block in a major way like I never have before. So I might be reaching out and being like, reality check. Like, this should not be hard. Like, what I'm doing is basically like writing a wraparound and like a couple things to introduce each metaphor. And I'm having like an existential crisis over it.
It's like you're just reiterating. I think that's honestly what it is that you're reiterating stuff that you've already said before.
Right. But
and because of that, like, you're not able to like spin it or put a different angle on it. Like, I'm
not able to treat it as carefully as I normally would. I usually do one aspect at a time, and now I'm trying to do like a short 3-minute video that's like, here's what ADHD is for everybody who is not already aware. And Edward's like, well, why don't you just do one sentence of, the scientific explanation behind whatever the metaphor is? And I was like, you don't understand. Like, it is way more complicated than that. I cannot fit a scientific explanation of these concepts into one sentence that's going to be coherent at all. So I'm working through some things. But Edward, did you, the thing you showed me yesterday, where you're like 99% like this is what the audience sees versus
yeah, I think I might have that somewhere. Actually, I might have that here.
We'll see if you can find it, because it was so brilliant. It's like you start out super optimistic on any project, and then like you go into the like, holy hell, what was I thinking hit or whatever, and then like you come out and you're like, oh, this is actually something I'm pretty proud of. I go through that on every
I might have gotten that
single episode.
Yeah. And I think everyone does on any creation.
Any creation?
Yeah, anything. Like,
well, sometimes you get to the end and you're like, oh, that wasn't as good as I'd hoped. But
yeah, but you're still, I feel like that happens a lot when you're starting out. But once you
know what you're doing,
once you just have more practice, essentially, like you're able to deliver on a basic level. Shoot, I don't know where that. Oh, I hope I saved it. Gosh darn it, I hope I saved it.
Every ADHDer everywhere about the cool thing that they found yesterday.
Dude, I found this really cool thing and I wanted to save it. I would put it up right now. So let me. I'm gonna see if I can find it while we're on the stream, because that's organization.
And while he does that, I will get to the announcements, because you guys voted last time that you'd prefer we do knock out the announcements at the beginning, and then I'll start getting into the chat. So you guys can chat, but I'm not going to see it just yet. I'm going to try and get through all the announcements, because every time I start looking at the chat, I end up doing the chat instead of continuing on the announcements. So let me get my list here.
Also, Vitea is taking an exam tomorrow about formal logic and philosophy and metaphor, and oh my gosh, I would go take that exam for you. I love it all so much.
Ooh.
I mean, I probably would fail.
Like it.
I'd probably fail the classical, knowledge of philosophy, but I certainly love argument.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's hit all the things. I mean, while you're doing that, I'm going to really still try to find this picture, because it's so great. I'm willing to grab it from my phone, send it through space back to the computer, and then I'm going to punch it. It's going to go through. It's going to do a double space round trip.
That sounds so much cooler than I'm going to email it to myself. Well, is that what you're doing?
Yeah,
you're emailing.
That's exactly what I'm doing. But you gotta be a showman about it. You gotta punch it up a little bit.
Okay, so. Let's see. All right, so announcements. I'm working on so many things, and still working on trying to make sure I'm balancing all of it with creating content for the channel. Still working on figuring out that balance. I am still trying to hopefully someday put out an episode every week regularly, and we are just having a hell of a time making that happen, because new opportunities come up and we have to judge like outreach versus like continuing content on the channel. But also, like, sometimes we have this metaphor episode where it's like, well, we'll have to miss a week, but this will go really wide, and so it'll catch more eyes, and it'll it'll further the goals of the channel.
Put pressure on either of us, as you can tell.
So much writer's block. Anyway, so yeah, we're just still trying to balance it, but we started using a project management software that I keep talking about. I should really make them pay me for how much I talk about this. But we finally broke down and did it. I love my bullet journal, but and I still use it for tracking certain things, and I think it's still like really wonderful to have just a place where it's just me and my life, and it can't be interrupted by like texts or phone calls or whatever. But we started this project management software called Asana, similar to like Trello or one of those. And oh my God, like I feel like I would have liked this even if I wasn't running a company, to manage my all my projects, because I always had multiple projects going and I would always lose track of them, not be able to get back in because I was like, shoot, where did I put the thing that I needed to be able to do the thing? And Asana has this beautiful way of like, you can update each other, and you can also like anything that's relevant to the thing, you can attach files or whatever. But the really cool thing was they taught me how to do a to-do list in general. And so you write the task, like I knew some of this, but you write the task and you have to make sure it's a doable task. It can't be like, write a novel. It has to be like something that seems doable in a day. And then you can break it down into subtasks, which I find especially important if you're having a very symptomatic day, or you're not on your meds or whatever. You break it down into subtasks, and then you write what it is the task name, why you're doing it. It goes in the description, like why are you even doing this?
That's
and then
the best.
Right, and then how to do it. Right, because sometimes when you go to put a task in, you're like, yeah, this is how I would do it. But then you get to doing that. You get to the time where you need to do that task, and you're like, it just seems so daunting. Like you don't even know where to start. If you've already done the work of this is how to do it, then it's way easier. So I will do that forever in whatever, task management or Bujo or whatever I'm using. Like, why am I doing this? How am I going to get it done?
Yeah. When is it due? Why am I doing this? How do I get it done?
Yeah.
That was just in the tutorial. That's not really part of Asana. They're just telling you how to set up a task. Like, cause it's not like there's a when, there is a when, but there's not like a why and a how spot. They're just like, when you write the description, make sure to include why you're doing it and how you intend to do it.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind because it had never occurred to me to write those things down before.
Right, and you don't think through them. So you're like, I can do these 15 things today, no problem. And when you have to write down how you're going to do it, you're like, oh, I actually have to drive an hour away to go pick this thing up. Yeah, that's going to take time. So it helps you think through it in advance. So anyway, we're having fun with that. It's amazing,
and it's just changed my life in the way that I think about tasks now, especially the why.
Yeah.
Because when you write down the why, you suddenly realize that the how can change.
The
how can change depending on your circumstances.
That's true.
But if you know the why, you've got a home base to start from.
That's true. So yeah, we like that. But there's a little bit of a learning curve there or whatever as we get it adjusted. But once we fully get integrated into the system, I think we can be a lot more productive, which is great. Do a lot more things. And then the other things that we're trying to do, I'm working on.
People are asking. There's a free version. I think because we signed in. We use Google Suite to keep everything else together. So I think because we signed in with Google Suite, they were like, good, you're on the professional version. So we have to pay for it, but it's really worth it.
We also get the free version. Somebody told me like doesn't have contingencies or dependencies. So like one of the things I like is if Edward's depending on me to do something to be able to get to the next step of whatever he's doing or vice versa, we can see that in like a chart kind of thing. And it'll like alert us if like we push our deadline and it's going to affect the other person, we can kind of see that, which is really nice. We can update them. Yeah. And then also if you finish something that I'm waiting on, and you mark complete, I get a notice like, hey, what you were waiting on is done. You can get started on this next thing now. So that's not available in the free version. So we have the more advanced.
Oh, and neither is the timeline. The reason why it's so useful is because especially if you live together, work together, have a marriage, have dogs, have a household, everything all together all the time, all of your conversations end up being about everything except like your relationship and life and fun. And
yeah, it was getting to the point where I was like, I have a business partner. I don't really have a husband.
Right? Well, I mean, not that I was being distant, but that we were both just, that was...
And vice versa,
yeah. Exactly.
It was every conversation. Like, this is a thing, too. If you're married, I feel like it's really good to have one of these for things like household stuff.
For regular life, yeah.
Yeah, because then
I know it's crazy.
Because I know if you're married, and especially if you have kids, like you have to intentionally be like, okay, we're not going to talk about the house or the kids,
right?
And we're going to go on a date like once a week, and your relationship starts to fade to the background, right? Because like you're so busy managing stuff all the time, and this allows me to just update him.
You update inside the app, so we're never like physically talking about things like that anymore. It's just I ask a question in the app, she sends me the answer in the app, and not only A, we don't have to have those conversations, but B, it's always in the app, so we can always find it.
It's
again.
There, yeah. And probably the best thing for ADHD
and yes, you
brains.
Can get it on iOS.
I don't have to interrupt him while he's working. I used to have to interrupt him while he was editing like 15 times a day. And
which is not the biggest deal in theory, but for me it's terrible because once I get stopped. Yeah, I guess that's true for others as well.
You have trouble with transitions more than I do. Like,
that's what I was going to say, because I could interrupt you and then you could go back into it within 10 minutes, but I can't. Like if I get knocked off the horse, like it's hard to get back.
Yeah, there have been times where I'm like, hey, can you help me with the groceries? And then like it takes him 2 hours to get back to editing because it's just like you're like a
diesel engine, yeah.
Diesel engine, yeah. Like once he gets going, he can go. Just like I have to make him stop and go to sleep.
Yeah,
like he'll just work 20 hours straight.
Like last night, I went I went and worked like 5 or 6 hours at this restaurant yesterday. Then I came home and I just continued to work, and I continued to work until about 4 a.m. And that's where, if you guys watched the vlog from yesterday, I literally stopped and recorded the vlog, and if it wasn't like, okay, it's 4 a.m, we have to do the brain board meeting, I would have just gone back to working because my brain was already there. And it's like it's so much easier to stay wherever I am than it is to move on.
Yeah, there's really cool stuff in the comments that I really want to read, but I'm gonna be disciplined and I'm gonna stick to the schedule.
I think we should only pause if they're asking questions specific to what we're talking about.
Okay, can you glance at it?
I will indeed.
Okay, cool.
I have been so far.
Okay, cool. So one of the things we're working on. And yeah, that's the nice thing. Like you can only hold so many projects in your head, but in Asana, you can just like have 20. Like you can have however many. You can have a
project that's just about organizing your other projects. It's so nice. And yes, it's available on iOS and Android.
It can get quickly overwhelming.
Don't have a project for your project of projects.
So yeah, one of the things I'm excited about is I'm writing a book proposal for Try Different, the fish book. And
I can't wait. I've been wanting to do a children's book for so long.
It's going to be a picture book for kids, probably around like kindergarten level, I would imagine. Yeah, like when kids are just starting to learn to read by themselves.
I've known that we should be doing a How to ADHD children's books for like, I don't know. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
You can go back to me railing and ranting about us. We should be doing a children's book like for a long time.
No, we might do more, but it translates really nicely into a kid's book, and I think it just emphasizes the idea that like different people are going to work differently and that's okay. And that's, I think, something that's a really good lesson for kids. And yeah, it'll translate into a picture book really well. So our business manager already has people that she wants to send it off to. So that landed in the priority, like the important and urgent box. So that's gonna be happening very soon. We also have VidCon coming up. If you guys can make it or are coming, VidCon is going to be the 21st through the 24th?
The 21st through the 24th, I believe, is correct, yes.
Yeah, and if you are coming to VidCon, or even if you're not coming to VidCon, there's Disney Day that Sunday that we are going to. So
if you're in the SoCal area and you want to come down... Oh, I get to say SoCal now. I've been in California long enough I get to say SoCal.
Californians don't say SoCal.
They don't?
No.
Really?
I don't. I think Disneyland's the only one that says SoCal.
You're not a real Californian.
You get the SoCal pass or whatever. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be at VidCon. We're speaking again, which is cool. They invited us back. If we can make it happen, we still have to confirm this, but I think Chloe is coming.
Yeah.
So
I'll be honest, like, just in terms of management, I'd be okay if Chloe was not coming, but I definitely understand that the brains are going to want to.
She'll be coming for at least one day, maybe. Like maybe we'll have my mom, see if my mom can bring her down. I'm not sure.
But I also understand like people want to meet her, and plus that's the whole point, right? Like we want to bring her around. It could just be challenging. You imagine VidCon. Now imagine VidCon with someone whose poop you have to manage. It just adds a level of complexity.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, we're officially training Chloe to be a therapy dog, essentially. So she is an emotional support animal for me. But more importantly, like, I'm training her to be able to, at any of our meetups, to be able to like do deep pressure therapy or just be there to be petted or hugged if anybody has social anxiety, dealing with panic attacks, you know, any of that.
She loves people.
Loves people.
That's one of the things that's so good about this is she is so aggressively affectionate towards people. It's amazing. And I did see David B asks, yes, if you're going to Disney Day, you have to buy a ticket to Disneyland.
But that's all you have to buy. Like, you don't have to buy anything related
special.
to VidCon. It's just people from VidCon are going to Disneyland that day. So,
and to be clear, David, yes, they are both expensive. I am well aware. I had to look at the prices for all of them. But I will say, Scott is going to be at VidCon, which is going to be
Scott and Izza are both going to be there.
Our super brain is going to be at VidCon as well. So. If you're going to be around in the area, please come around. And even if you can't make it to Disney Day or whatnot, like, I don't know what the schedule is, but we should really try to do like a outside of VidCon brain meetup if we can. I don't know.
We can reach out. We tried to make that happen last time, and it was difficult. But we can try, because I would like that. Like, I you know, if you're going to be in the area, we'd like to meet up. Although if you already are in the area, like maybe a meetup.
We should probably do a meetup that's not a
VidCon. Yeah.
Maybe when we're not like.
Yeah. Okay. So let me get through the rest of the announcements.
One other thing about VidCon really quickly. We're going to be doing some really cool. Hopefully, it's our plan. Can we tell them about the plan?
Oh, where is VidCon? Sorry, it's in Anaheim.
It's in Anaheim, California. Mm-hmm. Can I tell them about the plan for VidCon with the videos and the everyday?
Oh yeah.
So one of the things we're going to be doing is because there's lots of brains that can't make it to VidCon, we're going to do a vlog every day from VidCon. So basically, like what you guys already see, we're going to do one of those and put it on the channel properly. And we're hoping to do some giveaways.
We've got at least one.
We've got at least one. We're hoping to get more.
We're going to do the Revive giveaway.
We're going to give away the Revive.
There's going to be 3 of those to give away.
I think we haven't gotten it yet, but I'm going to talk to Writer Carol about getting the bullet journal. I gotta believe we're going to get some bullet journals. I don't see that being a problem. And then maybe some tangles as well.
Tangles,
That's the theory. So all those are going to happen, and we're going to be live. So we'll be vlogging that, and every day, assuming we get enough stuff to give away, we'll give stuff to a couple of people every day. For every day while we're there. And that's
because we want you guys to be involved as well.
And the people who are coming, obviously,
we'll have stuff to give away.
We'll have stuff there too as well. Yeah, we're going to do something. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, off track.
Yeah, because the brain is like 95%.
The brain
finished.
Design is so close now. It looks so much better already. Just in.
If you guys aren't aware of what we're talking about, we're designing a new brain. The original artist of our brain, it agreed to do.
Yeah, of the original, like you've seen that icon. If you search for brain, it's like one of the things that pops up.
It's the How to ADHD brain, but yeah,
it is.
Like, it's clip art now, basically. But he actually did do it for a company, so technically we can't just sell stuff with that brain on it. And anyway, it doesn't look completely like a brain. I like the cartoony nature of it, but as some people have pointed out, it looks more like small intestines.
It does.
You'll never be able to look at it the same way. But we're having one that looks very, very similar, but it's more anatomically correct to a brain.
Yeah.
And it's almost there, and so we'll hopefully have that on merch in time for VidCon.
Yeah, and we've already been working on this since last year, off and on, between everything else.
Yeah, we're gonna have to give him a bonus because he's been working on it for like a year.
I mean, off and on though. It's not like we met weekly and we're like, no, do it again.
Let's see. Okay. All right. Also, if you can't make VidCon, but you have time later in the year, the International ADHD Conference, the CHAD Conference, CHAD does a conference every year that's always great. This year, it's going to be even bigger because it's CHAD and ADA and the ACO, the ADHD Coaches Organization. So it's going to be really big. And they asked me to be the closing keynote speaker, which I'm really excited about. And it's not public yet, but I'm letting you guys know, because if you want to make plans to be able to be there, I'll be doing the closing keynote.
St. Louis, Missouri in November. I forget when.
November 5th through the 8th, I believe.
Is it really 5th through the 8th?
No, it can't be. No, it's the 8th through the 11th.
I was going to say.
Yeah, November 8th through 11th. I'll be doing the closing keynote, and Patrick, our main research consultant on the channel, will hopefully also be there. He's applying for the CHAD's Young Scientist Award for the research he's doing on how exercise impacts the ADHD brain. And I wrote him a nice letter of recommendation too about the work that he does on the channel.
I wish you could do like the streamies where it was like public. You could just vote, because we could send so many people to vote. Really quick, Bailey, I saw your comment. The 21st to the 24th of June is VidCon. I did see.
Sorry, Bailey. Bailey's asking very important questions.
Nope, I'm catching them. We're going along. Oh, and also Scott was on it as well. So yes, we're thinking good thoughts for Patrick. Again, none of this is stuff that you can talk about in public yet. It's all
you guys get to know it because you're on the board.
But you is in the loop.
A couple more things.
And of course, Brett Thornhill will also be there as well.
Yes!
He's awesome. By the way, he's in the chat as well. Hello, Brett.
Hey, Brett.
I see you there. I see you being Thornhill over there.
Also, I'm hoping to, if this works out, I'm hoping to go to something called SciComm Camp. We connected with this woman who's incredible. Her name is Kara, and she has a master's in neuroscience, and
it's Kara Santa Maria. You can Google her. She's not a small person in the scientific world. It's pretty cool.
She has a master's degree in neuroscience and also has done a lot of media stuff. And basically, she and a couple other people started this camp to help improve science communication, which I didn't know is what I do until I saw her speak randomly.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But yeah, apparently, science communication is the communication of science to lay people, to people who are not scientists. And so some of that happens by scientists who get good at communication, and sometimes that happens with communicators that like start to learn the science side of things. And so there's going to be a camp in November that I'm really hoping I can go to, that you just connect with these people and learn more about how to do it effectively. And you kind of learn from each other. Really, really excited. Hoping I can do that.
It's going to be super exciting.
That's like a premature announcement because I have no idea if it's possible. I don't know exactly how much it's going to cost.
But Kara was super cool, and it had never occurred to me, because one of the things I love is going on the internet and watching like videos, just like TED Talks essentially, of all kinds of stuff. And it didn't occur to me until after you'd had that conversation, like, oh right, we are science communicators, right, in a strange way,
right. And it is like Rochelle's like, nurses need to learn to help teach like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a really important thing, because what the discrepancy between what researchers know right now about ADHD and what the average person with ADHD knows is so vast, and it's only going to increase, unless we can do our part in decreasing it, because more and more research comes out about ADHD every year, and it's really hard to keep up. So
when we were originally talking about, like in the early years of the channel, one of the things I remember us talking about was like there is like when there was a question of like, oh, is this worth it? Is it valuable? Are we contributing anything? Like the thing that we came to was communicating the information is incredibly valuable, because it is absolutely, we tend to think that the person who came up with the thing is the most important. That's what we think is true, but the truth is the person who came up with it is not often the person we remember. The person we remember is the person who told it to us. So, for example, there are a lot of different people that invented the things that we think Edison invented. But Edison is the one that made it possible for everybody to get access to it. Now, I'm not going to get off on an Edison-Tesla thing because I like Tesla better. But the point is, if you want to make an impact in the world, it's not you can either be the 1 in a million Tesla, or you can try to be a really good public communicator and be like Edison without being a jerk.
Yeah, and everybody's saying like, these are important skills. Yeah, because if you're a scientist and you really know your stuff, but you can't communicate that to the people that that you could help, then that's a problem. And if you're in the media and you go and read the latest study and then misinterpret it and then share the results with people, and suddenly everybody's like eating a lot of chocolate because apparently it cures cancer, like when that's not even what the study was talking about, really. That's a problem too. So that science communication, I think, will help bridge that gap. And so I will I will be doing a vlog from there every day and being like, this is what I
do I get to go to that camp?
This is what I learned.
Do I get to go to that camp?
I don't even know for sure if I get to go, but
because I'm going to want to go both for this and for the other things as well. All the things, many things.
Maybe we'll see how we're doing.
Right.
We'll see how many shirts we sell at VidCon.
Fair enough.
Let's see. Okay, last couple of things. Okay, so how the conference went. So
the conference.
We did the help group conference. I did a vlog about it. but it was a conference for people with, really it was mostly for parents and professionals that are trying to help people with ADHD and autism. It was a little heavy on the autism. And it was a good conference, and it was also sobering because a lot of the things that were talked about were, in my opinion, not completely respectful of the fact that people's brains work differently. And there was a lot of focus on normalizing, in my opinion. There was a lot of focus on, like, how do we get these kids to not have ADHD anymore, or, like, not be as visibly autistic. And
yeah, it was almost like symptom management for other people.
Yeah, and
I mean, I was not there. I'm just describing what she described.
And it made me realize how important it is to talk about ADHD or autism from the perspective of somebody who has it. And I understand, like, the autistic community is very upset that most of the people talking about autism don't have autism. And after going to the conference, I really understood why. Like, on another level. Like, I kind of got it before, but now I really get it. And I used to feel like, as somebody with ADHD who hasn't studied this stuff, like, who am I to talk about it? And after going to this conference, like, I was like, no, we are absolutely the ones to talk about it. I'm trying to give Brandy treats to, like, keep her happy while we're on the live stream. And I think
it landed right on her head.
Yeah.
She was looking, like, it landed in her fur so it wouldn't move. And she's just looking around like, I know it's somewhere.
So yeah, sorry guys. What really struck me was that, for me, as somebody with ADHD, the most helpful stuff that I heard was in the panel that I was on. And I know I'm a little biased, but I was on it with a few other people.
It was the best panel. I saw just a little bit of some of the other panels. They were not as good.
I mean, yeah, they were, like, I don't want to trash talk. I really don't.
I'm not trash talking.
There were valuable things at every part of the conference, but the lived experience combined with the knowledge that that me and the other advocates have gained while studying it were, like, really grounded in reality, and very much like, hey, we like who we are and we want to be who we are, but we also want to minimize the impairments and be able to live a full life.
As somebody who is neurodivergent, I'll tell you that I got a lot more out of your panel than anything else that I saw there. I will be honest. Now, granted, I didn't see many of the talks. I saw only snippets of it, and I talked to Jessica about them afterwards. But I don't know, and that's not even a criticism. I rather than saying that they were bad and you were okay, what I'm saying is you were good. You were really good.
That's maybe a better way of putting it.
Not just you, but everybody on the panel. Everybody on the panel hits. I mean, I bought one of their books, which I never do.
2 of them.
Well, I bought the other one because you wanted it.
Oh yeah.
But one of the ones I was like, I don't care if you're getting it. I am definitely doing it.
Yeah, Brett says the required insight to effectively apply the results of the research. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I will trash talk a little bit.
Here we go.
There was one.
Let's remember this is being recorded.
I know. There was one person. I won't name names, but there's one person who.
Checking to make sure this is an unlisted video. It is.
Right. There was one presenter who was very much against any screen time. And recommended to everybody, like anybody who has a patient or a kid with ADHD or ASD, to go on a 3 to 4 week screen fast. And my problem with that was there was absolutely no caution with how this recommendation was put out there. It was like just very hardcore, like this would benefit everybody with ADHD or ASD, and then like slowly, like once you do the fast, you can slowly add in increments of like 15 minutes at a time, like maybe 15 minutes of screen time on a Saturday once a week, you know, for a few months, and then you slowly add it back in. And to me, it's like, okay, if you're having an extreme case of like, you know, screen addiction, which I know can be a challenge for people with ADHD, and like they're not sleeping and they're irritable, and you know, if there's a real problem, I understand taking an extreme measure. But she was recommending this for everybody. Like, and I talked to her afterward and challenged her on it, and I was like, would you recommend that for me? I am a YouTuber. Uh-huh. This is what I do for a living. And she was like, well, yeah. And I was like, but I'm doing well. And this is my job. I use the screen. I'll have to go right back to using it. Does it even make sense for me to do a fast? And in the conference, she had said, well, it only works if you can keep the screen time very limited after the fast. But to me, she said, yeah, it would still be worth it. And I was like, but I'm doing well. Like, and this is obviously something that can be very disruptive. And she goes, well, don't you have any symptoms? And I got so upset because I was like, yes, I have ADHD. I have symptoms, but it's very well managed. And the idea that somebody would be like, just this blanket, like, oh, and this was the other thing. She spoke about the people in the ADHD and autistic community very, in my opinion, disrespectfully. She said, well, if you're the parent, like, just take it away. Because parents were there like, how am I supposed to get my kid to agree to this? She's like, the kid doesn't have to agree. If they live in your house, they have to follow your rules. And she just suggested just like, without their consent, just taking it away for 3 to 4 weeks. And I'm like, this is just so potentially disruptive for those of us who use technology to like help us keep up with habits and routines. Like, changing that so abruptly without our consent, like at 18 years old, like, it was so disrespectful. And it seemed for the purpose of making that child easier to deal with from the parent or the teacher perspective, as opposed to like, what does this person need and how are they feeling impaired? Right. And that was the big difference. Those of us with ADHD and autism come at it from a perspective of like, what do we want for our lives and like, what's getting in our way and what can we do that can help that? And coaches, ADHD coaches like Brett Thornhill, come at it from that perspective too. But there are mental health professionals out there that are more about like, how do we make dealing with somebody with ADHD easier, basically, without respecting their input in the process. I don't know. It just, I don't think, you know, the thing that strikes me as we're talking about this is you cannot heal someone against their will. Why is Ducky saying I'm killing her? I don't know. I'm actually waiting for her to finish that sentence as well. Oh, she says that's suggesting encouragement. You cannot force someone into being better. They have to be part of the process. And that's why when you were talking about that earlier, when we were talking about it as well, it felt so much more like these are steps that you're going to take for the benefit of others, right? This isn't for the benefit of yourself. I kind of feel like, is this for autism or an Amish training program? Because the idea that you would completely cut out something that is fundamental to the way the society works now, that's just not... You know what it is? It's like... Yeah, and I'm not saying that it wouldn't help or benefit people. Like, after talking to Edward about this, he decided to go on a video game fast. Well, so after, well, I don't want to go in too deep into this, but after we were talking about that, one of the things that occurred to me is like, oh, you know what? I've been using screens a lot to kind of deal with my own like ADHD and anxiety, and I did go on a fast. I'm technically it ended yesterday, but I'm sort of still keeping it up until this video is done so I don't get distracted. That's great, but I did that willingly. Right. I decided to do that on my own, and it's working because I decided to do it. If you had just told me, oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, and she quoted a lot of research and stuff, but the research is there to support that screen time can impact ADHD symptoms in many ways, and reducing screen time can be good, but I don't know that the research is there that you should just cut it out entirely, and certainly not force that on people and then like not, I don't know, it just, I had problems with it. Again, it's like we were saying earlier, and Brett's been saying some similar things in the comments as well. It's like you have to meet people where they are, and you can't heal people against their will. Like if they're not a part of the process, they're not a part of the solution either. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I talked to Patrick about it, and he was basically like, yeah, I mean, if it's not realistic, what good is it? Because yeah, exactly. Because sure, great idea. Technically, if we all worked out for 8 hours every day, none of us would have ADHD symptoms, right? But we would also have sweet abs. We would, but we also wouldn't have time for work and family and friends. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I just from hearing some of those things, it was just very like being treated like less than human in some ways. Like there is a lot of dehumanization. Like as a problem rather than as a person. Yes. as a problem rather than a person. That's what bothered me. And what I like about coaches and what I like about people who are advocating for their,
therapists, all that stuff.
What I like about that is they are very much like, this is a person who's dealing with some challenges, as opposed to like, this is a problem to be solved. So anyway, that's my rant on that.
I'm just gonna close, or I'll leave the subject alone after this. I feel like that's how you can identify someone whose living is made not through successfully helping people, but successfully convincing people that someone can be helped.
Interesting.
Because and when you're in the business of selling books and talks, that could be your take, right? Like, it's in some ways it's easier to convince people that something can be done than it is to figure out a way to do it. And one of the things I love about the idea of you going out to give talks is that you are so solution focused and realistically minded that if you say something, it's like, this is reasonable, this could work. Mm-hmm. Like, you're not interested in just making people believe they had a good time or they got information. You're interested in actually the results that they're going to get. Like, what you get, what your goal is not in that room.
Bailey, no, this person did not have ADHD. No, certainly not. And like, just the way that she spoke about people with ADHD was very much like, she was saying that, we can get rid of their symptoms altogether. So it was one of those people. It's like either doesn't really believe in it or like thinks that we can cure it, or I don't know. It was weird. I feel fairly confident that she's never going to support us at our channel at that level. Like, she was very annoyed by me because I challenged her a lot on the way out.
By the way, high five to you. I wasn't even there. I just heard about it later. That's just, you guys are going to get to see the pre and post with me because I have the memories of it. I remember Jessica going to the first conference ever where she was like, gosh, I hope nobody fusses at me for doing a channel, and I hope I'm doing that. I've seen her go from that to not only is she speaking at the channel, but then when other speakers are saying stuff that they shouldn't be saying and that is dangerous to the community, either for autism, ADHD, or another community, she's talking to them after going, what are you saying to people? Yeah. That's not okay.
It's like, you need to caution that this is not necessarily always a good approach.
Do you know what I just realized? You've become the thing you feared.
I have. I will challenge people. And like Lauren says, a lot of schooling these days, you have to use the internet for research assignments. She was like, just get a doctor to write a note and get your kid out of homework for 4 weeks.
It's ridiculous. I mean, that's like, great. I didn't know you could do that anyway.
But a kid who's already struggling maybe, and, to not have 4 weeks of that's just, it's so disruptive. They could fall behind with their education, and it makes next semester even harder for them. And it's just this, anytime you do anything for your ADHD or your autism, you have to weigh benefits and risks. And if you're doing great, don't take an extreme thing that could mess up your routines and your schedule and help you and make you fall behind in school. It just doesn't make sense to take that risk, in my opinion.
Agreed.
That said, blue light doesn't help you sleep. Use Flux at night. Do some reasonable things to cut back on your screen time if that's an issue for you.
And if you find yourself using it to fill anxious moments, I'm not saying stop, because the worst thing you can do when you realize you have a coping mechanism is to take it away from yourself right away. I'm just saying, just start to let go a little bit. Just let go a little. Start to work on other things. Look for other ways. I've let go of playing video games. I was playing video games constantly, and since I literally stopped 5 minutes after she and I had that talk, and I have written more and created more. I mean, I'm still working on the channel, but just all of my other time,
the time he would normally spend playing video games,
it was just dead time. Because I couldn't fill it with this thing that provided interaction, I have been writing, I have been creating stuff. It's been incredible.
Ryan goes, didn't you know that completely disrupting ADHD/ASD peeps routines is the best? Yeah.
Right? You know what people with neurodivergent brains really enjoy? Just poking at them with a stick. That's the way to teach them.
Sorry.
Let's keep rolling.
I love you guys. I love that I can just go off like that, because it made me so mad. But you know what? You know what's awesome? People were walking out of this seminar. As soon as she's like, oh yes, this is what everybody should do, people started leaving. It was great.
And Rochelle says, if it's addiction bad enough, then you go to rehab. Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying don't go to rehab if you find yourself in a place where you're really dependent on something. I have a tendency to get so worried about getting addicted to things that I feel like I usually catch a lot of those things like right as they're starting.
Although be careful with rehab.
Right?
Rochelle, John Oliver just did a piece on rehab, which was really terrifying, about how there are not, at least in the US, there are no like standards for
There's no licensing or anything. You can just basically open a rehab and call yourself a rehab.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. So do your homework on that.
So just be careful.
Also, Ducky, Rochelle pointed out a really important thing recently to me. Well, I guess I kind of knew it, but if you guys haven't heard of the rat park thing, that's really interesting. We think of addiction as like the substance is the problem, but it's not. It's what's driving people to use the substance that's the problem. So like ADHDers are more at risk for addiction, for substance abuse, because our brains are craving that extra stimulation. If somebody's left alone in a room all day, like they have nothing better to do, they're going to be more likely to use it than if they have like a full life with a job and friends and family and stuff. So
I had a therapist one time that told me this was maybe kind of a controversial point, and I don't want to tell you that this is 100% accurate, but I have certainly found it to be true in my case, and I would not say it applies to everybody, but I would say it does tend to be true with some people at least. She said addiction, physical addiction, is a very short-term thing. Just about anything you can get addicted to, you can get off in about 4 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. Like it'll get out of your system and then your body forgets it, essentially. Mental addiction, psychological addiction, is much harder to beat. But the reason that it's harder to beat is people get psychologically addicted to things when they cannot sit in a quiet moment by themselves, is what she would tell me. And
Vitea has some interesting
we need to get that. Point being that, so I guess that's, and so when I find myself, like with the video game thing, with any kind of addiction situation, if you find yourself unable to sit with yourself, it doesn't matter what you're addicted to or whatnot, working on that is always a good thing. Why am I not able to sit with myself? What did Vitea say? Let's come back up.
There are two systems, actually, the wanting and the liking system.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, I got off on a tangent a little bit. I got passionate.
So to follow that up, Vitea says the two disassociate after a while with substance abuse, substance addiction. So the wanting and the liking, you want it, but you don't like it anymore, which is absolutely true.
Ryan, the rat park thing. Yeah. So the original study was like there were two things of water and one had drugs and one didn't. And a rat in a cage by himself would start preferring the one with drugs and then end up using it until he killed himself, essentially. But then another researcher looked at it and was like, well, yeah, I mean, anybody who's
in jail
by themselves wouldn't, with nothing better to do, that makes sense. But what if we made Rat Park? What if we made lots of other, put them in a bigger cage with lots of stuff to do and lots of other rats to have fun with,
tunnels and all kinds of stuff?
Yeah, then what would happen? And in that experiment, the rats actually preferred the water without the drugs. So and none of them died from an overdose. So that's what it is.
Yeah. The idea
Rochelle says, link the video. I got to find it.
You will have to find that. But the idea.
Actually, I can link it real quick.
To put it a different way, the idea is that what causes addiction is not necessarily a substance or an activity, as much as it is disconnection. When you find yourself in some way disconnected from yourself, from people you care about, from your community.
Because humans are meant to bond.
I think the Rat Park thing shows that most animals are.
Yeah, that's true.
It just doesn't feel good to not be around things. Now, you put a snake in a cage, I'll bet the snake will drink the regular water, no problem. I bet it doesn't care. Snakes, I don't believe, hang out. I don't think snakes are very...
This is not a researched position.
You know what? I'm not a snake expert. So I'm gonna rather than undermine my entire point, I will leave the snake. Wouldn't that be so great? I die on the hill of snakes don't need cocaine.
Right? Snake lover, the one snake lover in the chat is you have no idea what you're talking about.
A herpetologist.
Clearly, our brain board meetings are not as researched as our regular content. Disclaimer.
But the thing about addiction, I really do feel very strongly. If you can't sit with yourself in a quiet moment, that's usually a good thing to look into. I really do believe that. But again, that's not necessarily a research position. That's just an experiential position, and I would bow to any research someone would provide.
Interesting. Wanting equals dopamine, liking equals opiate.
Interesting.
All right, last thing. Upcoming episodes. So we have the metaphors episode, which I am currently dealing with major writer's block on.
That's second to last thing.
It is?
Look at your own text.
Oh, right, no, wait, we already talked about that, didn't we?
No, we didn't. Nope, we did not yet. I promise you we did not.
I thought we did.
Super didn't.
Okay, we'll find out. Upcoming episodes, we are doing, we're working on a collab to explain how ADHD medication works on a molecular level.
Oh, it's going to be so cool. Talk about more animation.
We're doing that. Are we? Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's got to be.
Oh, yeah.
See, I get excited in the early stages because it's like, oh, it's going to be so much fun.
Although,
and like,
maybe that's something we do in collab with him because however he normally does it. We'll take a look. Professor Dave.
Yeah, Professor Dave explains.
Yeah, Professor Dave explains. We're doing a collab with him because he does. He teaches like mostly sciencey stuff, and so we're going to do a collab on how ADHD medications affect the brain,
which is so cool.
Ducky's already helped. Yes, I am involving you. Ducky's already helped a lot with this episode.
Felicia wants to know: is it explaining more than just stimulants? I'm not sure.
We're gonna. You know what? We were going to focus on stimulants, but we can do non-stimulants too. I don't know if we can do it in the same episode. I'm not sure. But maybe we should do both.
By the way, David B., I see what you're saying there. Yes, that's the other thing that we have to talk about. We haven't talked about yet.
Yes.
But we're going to get there.
No, see, I did mention it.
No, we didn't. He said, can we also talk about it? We haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah.
So we're going to get there. Let's keep going. Stimulants. Yes, stimulant medication. We're going to do an episode about it.
Yes, and Ducky will totally involve you in that. And we're also doing an episode on how to evaluate a claim. If you see somebody on Facebook being like, ADHD is whatever, it can be cured with essential oils. Like, I see those things and I'm like, I don't have the energy to
This is where I love this stuff. Yeah.
But some people see that, and you know, if you're a concerned parent and you see something that's like essential oils can treat ADHD more effectively and more safely than Ritalin, and you were going to put your kid on Ritalin, you're at least going to be interested in that. And if you're a friend of somebody who's got a kid with ADHD who's about to put their kid on medication and you don't think they should, you're definitely going to share that with them, right? Like, that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So this is a way for you, whether you're the one getting these claims that people are sharing with you on social media, or you come across one and you're like, is this legitimate? It's a way to evaluate it before you keep sharing that. Like, these things spread like wildfire on social media.
Oh, that's an angle that we should put as well, which is that even though we are science communicators, technically everyone is, because when you share, you're putting your own credibility, like your friends trust you.
Yeah.
So if you're putting this out there, they're going to trust you, even if they know you're not an expert in this thing. They're going to say, well, so-and-so told me, so they're probably right. Right? So, yes, this is like examining media sources for accuracy, making sure that what we know is true is, oh my God, I love it so hard. I can't wait.
It's going to be cool. By the way, that one's going to have some animation too.
Of course it will. It's not like a problem for me. I love it.
The sword of critical thinking. You can fight your way through the dungeon of,
Oh, yeah.
Through the dungeon.
Oh, can we do maybe like an 8-bit thing, like an old Nintendo game?
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
So cool.
So like, yeah,
I love this show because I can just come up with whatever I want, and you're like, yeah, you can do it. Do whatever you want. You want to?
I should probably rein you in a little bit. Like, you're like, oh, I could totally do this, and like a month later, I'm like, this was maybe a little much for a.
I'm gonna be straight. Like the metaphor episode, we're gonna be racing to get it out by the end.
I think he may have overcommitted.
But it's just, here's why, because each one is so good, and I want it to be good, and I'm trying to. Scott's like, I got to be involved with that 8-bit. I feel you. Yeah, dude. If we do an 8-bit thing, you're totally welcome to help.
Just call me Gary says me too.
Okay, well, apparently we're going to have a lot. Dude, I'm fine with a lot of help.
That would be cool. We still have to find a way to incorporate his.
Oh yeah, we still have. Just Call Me Gary did a great, which I can't remember your real name anymore.
ADHD
it's just Gary. He did an ADHD webcomic that we have the copy of, and that's another bonus thing that we need to drop at some point. We already have the audio for it. Oh yes, the puppy is not itchy. The puppy is restless and wants to come out.
Yeah, I'm gonna let her out.
So so the metaphors episode, we're gonna be racing. I mean, dude, I'm trying.
I know.
I'm doing the best I can. And also there's this one that is so long.
He animates too? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think, because his wife animates as well. His wife animates. Like, his wife does that for a living, as I understand it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she has the cone of shame because she had to have her female sex organs removed.
She got spayed, which is kind of like having a C-section. Like, they have to cut through the abdominal wall, and it's the whole thing. So
it's intense.
Big surgery for her. I mean, it's common, so people don't take it too seriously, but it's a huge surgery.
Yeah, guys, we need to get over ourselves. Like, even castration, which is, I can feel every guy just went, ooh, just a little bit. That's easier than getting your tubes tied or having any kind of hysterectomy situation. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's empty.
And Rachel, no, I haven't seen his channel. I've seen his comics.
Who? Oh, Gary? No, I haven't seen your channel, Gary. What? Yeah, link us to your channel, Gary. I want to see that.
Wait, but his name's not Gary.
He said, just call me Gary, and I'm going to take him at his word. Okay, so there's that. So we have that. We have many things. Please don't hate me if this thing doesn't get out before May. Please don't hate me. I'm working as hard as I can.
We're trying to get it up in time for ADHD Awareness Month.
I'm trying so hard.
Okay.
Don't hate me.
Well, just... Yeah. We have so much that we need to do.
I know. Don't hate me. I'm trying.
Ask them. They're the ones paying you.
I'm trying so hard, you guys. I'm trying so hard. If you guys saw the video I recorded last night, I'm definitely putting the time in. Just don't hate me if it doesn't get uploaded to me. Steven! Of course, Steven.
Okay, so yeah, all that's happening. And we still have the parenting episode as well. We've got so many things that are like half done.
We have the parenting thing. We have the interview with Scott that we're going to put out.
Yes. So yeah, we're putting out the interview with Scott and announcing the website in time for VidCon.
And I want to do the Mr. Rogers thing. Can I tell him about the Mr. Rogers thing?
You can. I don't know how you're going to... Okay. Edward's sense of time is just...
Okay, here's the thing. You
deserve a trophy.
I know. But here's the thing. There's Mr. Rogers. There's a movie coming out called Won't You Be My Neighbor? It's coming out June 6th. And it is so beautiful. It is... I cried like 3 times. I love Mr. Rogers anyway. I think Mr. Rogers is one of the most awesome people...
Do you want to put the picture
who's
up?
ever lived.
Or where's the picture
of what
of us in the Mr. Rogers sweater?
It's in a thing. I don't have it right here. We'll post it in the Discord later.
Where is it?
It's in our email. I have it, but to get to
I can find it now.
No, it's in my email.
Oh, okay.
But it's in my other account. I didn't give them my regular one just so I don't get spam. Long story short, it's a beautiful film. You have to see it. You have to see it because it's not what you expect when you expect a documentary. It's not like Mr. Rogers was born in such and such. They really talk about Mr. Rogers' presence in culture. And
do they know who Mr. Rogers is?
Okay, so for people who are not in the United States, there's a pic on Edward's Instagram. That's one of them, but there's more. There's better ones than that. Mr. Rogers was a television personality.
But feel free to link to it if you have it.
On PBS, which is a public broadcasting system in the United States. It's a government-funded channel. And basically, he did children's television programming for years.
Oh, no.
What'd you do? That's fine. Go back.
Is it okay?
Fine. Yeah, just go back.
Okay.
It's no big deal. He did television programming for years, and he was basically the embodiment of compassion, of empathy. I
didn't mess it up?
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did. We'll find out. We'll find out what's happened.
I clicked on just call me Gary's channel.
Yeah, that was... no, I think it's fine. I think it's just having trouble. Like, I think we're fine. Guys, forgive me for pausing for a second. I just want to make sure that this isn't going to... Let me see.
I think it's probably fine. Sorry.
Yep, everything's fine. It just took a second to load. Okay, so, yeah, I'm just going to close some of this stuff real quick, just so that we don't have to deal with that.
That was my most ADHD moment.
That's okay.
Hello.
If somebody would post Gary's thing in the Brainboard Discord, because I'd like to look at it later, I will also post the photos of us from the movie there as well. So for those who don't know, he did children's television programming, and he was basically he was originally going to be a preacher, and then he got his master's in children's therapy, and he was really focused on dealing with feelings and helping kids understand and process feelings, and teaching them that feelings are okay, helping them feeling loved, helping them feel loved.
They're mentionable and manageable.
Mentionable and manageable are what feelings are. Yes, and there's a great link if you want to see him. They were actually going to cancel PBS in the 70s. And he'd only been on the air for a couple of years, and he went in and spoke for 6 minutes, and in 6 minutes completely changed the mind of the entire board when no one else could. He was a beautiful man, and he was just, I'm going to cry. He was just the embodiment of just human compassion and care, man. Like, he cared with a ferocity that I don't think many people can manage. Everyone he met, he would write to. Every letter he ever got, he wrote back to. I lived in the Bahamas at the time. I didn't get to watch that much Mr. Rogers. My family, we lived overseas for a lot of my life because of my dad's job. And my mom said, "We miss your show." She wrote to Mr. Rogers, said, "We miss your show because we live in the Bahamas and we can't really see it." And, you know, months later, we didn't get a letter. We got a box in the mail. And the box was a letter from Mr. Rogers that he had written saying, "Oh my gosh, it's so nice to hear from you," and da-da-da-da. And he talked about us and our family and expressed all these things about it. And then he sent us videotapes of his show. I'm getting goosebumps. He sent us books for free. Like, we didn't give him money. He just gave this stuff to us. It's incredible. It's an incredible movie. June 6th is when it's coming out. And that's why I will work all night if we can put out something before it comes out, just because of how important it is just to be a part of.
It comes out June 8th, doesn't it?
It's June 6th.
Really?
Yeah.
You're sure?
I think. I could be wrong.
Double check for you.
I thought it was June 6th. The point is.
But yeah, he wrote. I asked. We went to a screening at YouTube.
Yeah.
That's why we've seen it already.
It was super cool.
And the director was there afterward, and I asked him with kind of tears in my eyes, like, how did he respond to everybody? Because I wish that I could, and it's so hard to keep up. And he said it was very hard for him too, but he's like, first of all, YouTube's different, right? You have more people talking to you and more easily, but also he spent hours every day, hours a day.
He would wake up at 5 in the morning and he would write letters for at least an hour, possibly 2 hours a day. And then he said he'd spend one day on the weekend just writing letters.
Yeah.
He was just. We live in a world that is so empty of, like, just, oh my gosh, true blue role models. Like, Mr. Rogers is a real role model. He's amazing.
And we think about that on a regular basis. Like, we want our channel to be like that. We want it to be a place where feelings are mentionable and manageable, and symptoms are mentionable and manageable. And
I've said in the past, like, I feel incredibly, like, the video that I want to do is like a list of YouTubers that I feel I was thinking about actually me doing the video, but I don't know if we're going to do it that way. A list of YouTubers that are sort of carrying on Mr. Rogers' legacy of compassion, caring, understanding, community. And it was going to be people like the Vlog Brothers and Hannah Hart and Zay Frank. And I was going to put her on the list too. But the concern was that would seem like we were big upsing ourselves. I
wouldn't put it on the list. I would just say, like, hey, this is something that we try to do. Here are other YouTubers that do this.
That's a good way to do it.
And that way the list, we're not on the list. That seems weird to me.
I can just tell you guys, like, I have worked in so many different things in my life. So many different kinds of shows and things. I count myself so fortunate to get to work in this community because I get to work with her, and I really do believe that she is cut from that Mr. Rogers mold, and it is just one of the great honors of my life that I get to help enable what she's doing. So anyway,
this is June 7th.
Oh, yeah. So maybe it's June 7th. I don't know. I thought it was
June 8th. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know.
Either way, it's incredibly powerful. And if you want to know what's really great about it, you see Mr. Rogers the man, not Mr. Rogers the icon. They start with the icon, and by the end, you know the man, and you know how frustrated he got. I had never seen Mr. Rogers get angry before.
Oh, yeah, because the work he was... And I completely relate to this anger, because he's doing all this work to make compassion a thing, and then people do, like, horrible things to people. Like, I don't know, he was dealing with, like, racism issues, like, what was it, like, they weren't letting black people swim in pools or something like that, and they poured chemicals in the pool to try and scare them away or whatever.
In the 70s, and they were like, they didn't want the pools to integrate, so there was, like, white people coming out and, like, putting bleach on the black people in the pool.
Yeah, it was really bad.
So horrible.
And so he deliberately did an episode where he shared a kiddie pool, like he was bathing his feet in a kiddie pool, and, like, invited
this police officer who was black that he had brought onto the show brought him in to
sit, and he invited him to share the pool with him.
Yeah. And
he gives a look to the camera that with context, you realize is him going, yeah, no, like you don't get to win. Hate does not get to win.
May I use the profanity I want to use right now?
I don't know.
It's going to be the worst kind.
Don't.
Okay. He was kind of saying, heck with you guys. There's a moment where he throws a look to the camera where I'd seen that look 1,000 times on Mr. Rogers, of him just kind of throwing a look. It looked like he was checking in, but now I'm beginning to realize it wasn't he was checking in as much as he was going, yeah, I see you.
Yeah. And I feel that. There are some times where I'm like, I'm doing all of this work, and then, the stupid Netflix documentary comes out, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, why are we not past this? Like, why?
You know what? That was why it was awesome that you were around.
Oh, thanks.
Because people are going to still talk trash no matter what.
Also, we are completely...
sorry, yes.
We've completely lost touch with it. Okay, so those are all the announcements.
No, there's one more.
No, there's not. Oh, shoot.
Super is.
The Benefit Corporation.
Yes.
We're starting a company. We officially.
Thank you guys so much for your support.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
We officially started working with a lawyer to set up a benefit corporation. The reason why we're doing a benefit corporation is because it allows us to focus on doing good as opposed to just making money.
Can I tell them? Did you know that in the United States, corporations are legally required to make money,
to make profits, to make choices that will bring them profits for their shareholders. Yeah.
Which, like, to the point where you can actually prosecute the head of a company if they don't. So when we think of all these companies that are so evil and they're doing all this evil, dastardly stuff, it's built in.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
They have to do everything they can. Now, granted, they're still doing bad stuff and they shouldn't do those things. But they're getting the incentive to do that from every angle.
Sending hugs to everybody. Everybody needs hugs. Everybody needs hugs now.
Everybody needs hugs.
Group hug, yes.
Shall we group hug the camera?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, let's totally do it.
Okay.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hug.
We're gonna go group hug the.
Hugging. Hugs. Get in here. Get in here.
Yeah.
You were officially hugged. Everybody who needs one.
But yeah, we by being a benefit corporation, it's a little more work. We have to do something. We have to do an assessment every year to make sure that, or basically to see what kind of impact we're having on the world. Are we, who are we helping? How much are we helping? What's our impact on the environment? How do we treat our employees? If we are able to hire employees, like that kind of thing. And it's a really wonderful thing. But yeah, legally it offers us protections in that we can make decisions that are for the good of the community as opposed to for the good of our shareholders if we ever have shareholders. So I don't know. That's probably something that's way down the road or whatever. Like if we ever get to the point where we want to do big things that require lots of money and we need to go public for whatever reason, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But if we ever do, all of our decisions can be made for the benefit of the ADHD community, which is always going to be my focus.
Yes,
way above any any potential income or whatever. And it's thanks to you guys that we can do that, because we get support from you. We don't have to be like, okay, yeah, we'll take whatever sponsorship we can get this month because we got to pay our bills. I can put the ADHD community first because of your support. So part of that, and this is exciting, part of that is we talked to the lawyer and she said that since we already meet with you guys once a month, you're on our brain board, and we listen to you, we listen to input from you. And that helps us decide, what direction to take the channel in. You guys might be involved in this process if you want to be. We would have you fill out a form, basically giving us feedback on, how we're doing and what you would like us to do and all of that. So let's see what you guys are saying.
Okay, everybody's trash talking America. America is an awesome country, but yes, we totally have issues. There's no question, especially when it comes to companies. And look, I get it. I understand. It is important to return value for your shareholders.
Yeah. David said that doesn't mean they have to do bad things. They just have a liability to the people who own the company.
Too. We said the same. We said you don't have to do these illegal things.
But
they
here's
are being
an example.
Incentivized to do the most that they possibly can.
Yeah, no, not the illegal stuff. But here's where it really matters. If we ever say wanted to sell the company, if that happened, we would legally, as a regular corporation, we would legally be required to sell it to the highest bidder.
Right.
As opposed to like somebody who's going to carry on the legacy. So little things like that. Nobody's saying you have to do illegal things because you're a regular corporation.
I'm not. Excuse me. To be clear, I'm not saying that you do. All I'm saying is that when you create a system wherein you are required to return value to your shareholders, once you get into a system where everyone is starting to do that, the competition goes way up, and then eventually you are essentially incentivized to do bad things because the competition is so steep in order to be competitive.
I don't know if any of that's true. I don't know enough about.
I definitely think that people have argued it to themselves that it's acceptable because that's what has to happen. That said, yes, one of the things I love about the benefit corporation is that we get to make those kind of decisions, which I've always wanted to make. I didn't realize when you start a company that you have to. Like sometimes I feel like the decision you should make is the one that is the one that's best for people and not for companies. Hi.
I was reading the comments.
No, what I said was I'm really glad. I didn't realize that other companies couldn't do that. I'm so glad we're getting this kind of company because I've always felt like sometimes you should make the decisions that are best for companies, for people, not for companies. And I did not realize that was not already a thing. Anyway.
Yeah. But more and more companies are starting to do it. It's a little more expensive. It's a little more work. It's, it's something
it'll be nice
you
and
do.
Accountable for us too, though.
I think it's going to be good. Yeah. To know that in a like every year we're going to have to report back and be like graded on how we did and how much we helped. I think it's good. Yeah. To have that accountability is good.
I'm very excited. I think it's the start of a lot of awesome stuff.
The comments are cracking me up. All right, so
I don't know what Complexly is. What kind of company Complexly is it?
Yeah.
But that's a.
So that is the official end of all of that. Wow, we have to get better at being quick about the.
I think we did pretty.
We're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on getting quick at the announcements. No, we really need to be like announcements in 20 minutes, and then we can chat. But yeah, hi. So
hello.
How are you guys?
We'd like to know how everyone...
We just talked for over an hour.
We got passionate is what it was.
Yeah.
We were both feeling terrible. We are both sick right now.
Yeah.
So yes.
Oh yeah, David says, my paranoid lawyer brain is also very happy you're working with a lawyer. Doing this kind of complicated legal stuff on your own is not a good idea. Yeah, I'm also just not good at paperwork. So somebody else handling paperwork is always a good idea for me.
Tell Scott, tell your mom I said hi. Hugs back to Izza and Rochelle. I understand having a crush on Jessica. I have one as well. Oh God, that's right. Even the puppy is sick.
I know.
Randy's the only one.
It's been rough.
No pun intended.
Rough.
No pun intended.
I know. This was one of the hardest weeks for me. Like the last couple of days at least were so hard for me because I'm dealing with the metaphors episode where I'm like trying to like do something that's going to be really, really helpful and go wide, and dealing with writer's block and dealing with being sick and like staying up all night with her the first night. And then the next night I got like 4 hours of sleep because, she's hurting. And needs extra attention and stuff like that. It's just, it's been, very symptomatic.
It's been a crazy couple of days. I don't remember the last time that I just stopped and had breakfast and didn't think about.
Tim took his mother to brunch for her birthday. You're a good
wonderful.
Son. And Rob, thank you for saying hope you recover quickly. Brett says, remember your job is often to get things done, not always to do them yourself. Yes, but as we've discovered, sometimes like having other people work on stuff is just as taxing because we have to. Then you have an extra person you need to communicate back and forth with, and like sometimes your vision is different, and that comes with its own challenges.
You and I have that challenge just in terms of when we each launch on an episode together, but don't talk about it first.
Yeah. My kingdom for an eye.
I don't know what that means, is it? So all these things are things. Is there anything of noteworthiness that you guys wanted to talk about while we're here? Because I don't want to cut it short. If you guys...
Yeah, is this as management is more complicated than actually doing it? At first it is. So like if you have a long-term thing where somebody's going to help out, then yeah, it makes sense to take the time to like train them and make sure you guys are on the same page. But for a one-off project, it's often slower than doing it yourself. Because it's not that we're slow at doing the stuff that we do. It's just that there's so much of it. There's so many steps to creating one of these videos that you know, spending 4 hours on one step is already too long. Oh yeah, is this as Turtles quote? Always assume it's a Turtles quote. Yeah. PSA: if anybody is into Turtles all the way down, talk to Izza because she would love to talk to you about it.
Totally. Scott is working on the website and the forums. Those are coming together
happening
awesomely.
Today and tomorrow. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. Can we just get a round of applause for both Izza and Scott, because they're both, Izza right now is super late and Scott is crushing on the website. You guys are both just, I'm applauding. I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm applauding with the only hand that I got. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Infrared 73 Eric says Turtles. Yeah, Turtles all the way down was written by John Green, and it's amazing. And I have to read it before VidCon. I promise.
All that applause is for you guys down there, Izza and Scott. Look at it. Show. Will you click show? Click show right there.
Show.
Yeah, click show. Click show.
I did.
Oh, that's weird. It should show. I don't know what the deal is.
What are all the claps for?
For another moderator's handle.
Nice.
It's for Izza and Scott.
Oh, right.
Because Izza is pulling the crazy time, and Scott has been dedicating incredible hours. And you know what? And
this website has been, I mean, the forums have been in the works for a long time. So it's cool that it's finally going to come to fruition. For both of these fine people, they in many ways are making some of the difficult things that we don't even have either time or the skills to do. They make that stuff happen, and it makes the community awesome. And I'm just incredibly grateful to you guys, and I appreciate it very much. David B says, I just posted an article from The Guardian, a liberal UK paper, that says business schools are essentially encouraging the sort of reckless activities you're talking about. That's interesting. I wouldn't want to go on record either way. I don't know, but I do know that we certainly see a lot of business over people. Some people have said that the modern business is sociopathic in its behavior, in that it does not think about people or its impact. It just thinks about itself. So I'm just very glad that we found a kind of business that isn't going to be that way, because I just have something in me that I will not do something that I'm not okay with. If I feel like it's going to really hurt people, I can't do it. And if we were in a business where we had to, that would suck. I agree. And yeah, if and when we grow to the point where we can have employees and stuff, it'll be cool. Like, I have a dream, you guys. I have a dream someday of having, I don't know quite how we're going to get there, maybe with like, I don't know, book sales and stuff. I'm not sure. But I have a dream that someday we can have a company where we have an office that has a trampoline and like a place where you can go take a nap if you need to recharge in the middle of the day, and like, I don't know, it's just like a very ADHD friendly work environment that is dedicated to helping, supporting, and reducing stigma for people with ADHD and related conditions. Like, that would be my dream, to like actually have an office. Yeah. Like a place where people could go and like, yeah, I don't know. I've got ideas now I want to talk to you about for the business thing later. Aw, I want to be your employee. So do I. Like, yeah, if we could, I mean, yeah, I would seriously hire nothing but ADHD people. Right? I wouldn't discriminate. Like, if somebody applied and they were like, I would like to work here, like, I wouldn't be like, you can't unless you bring me your diagnosis. But I just think it'd be fun. Oh, V has to go. V, it was such a pleasure to have you. Yeah, San Diego office. We could move down to San Diego. Maybe so. Oh, wow. Ryan says the Mondragon Corporation in the Basque region is a giant cooperative that had to start its own university to train managers, etc., without all the toxic stuff taught in business school. Amazing. Wow. That's wild. Oh, yeah. And don't forget Dukkha. She's responsible for Izza's sanity. Of course. Hire me. Oh, wait. Yeah.
Number one, you're already there. And two,
Scott, you're expensive.
Yeah, you're. Oh.
I once asked Scott how much I would have to like make to be able to hire him, and he laughed.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, I don't want. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. So wait, what would you guys like if you could design the perfect place to work for somebody with ADHD? What would it be like? Like, what would it have? I mean, good healthcare.
Colors on the walls, man.
Colors on the walls?
Yeah, I love colors on the walls. Yeah, I do like that it's kind of tame colors in here because it makes it nice and calm, but I like colors on the walls.
Payment and hugs. You guys, sure.
Yeah, but to reach the market rate of hugs, that's going to take a long time.
A busy hospital floor. Oh, wait. The walls would be nothing but sticky notes.
Dude, having little wall things where the sticky note thing is there and you could just stick it on your wall. Like, yeah. Or the walls are all whiteboard. What? Or you have whiteboard stations. Wow.
Whiteboard stations is a good idea.
Like it looks like a window.
And like a sticky note station where it's like a panel on a wall that just has sticky notes of all different sizes, and you can just go grab one if you need one. Colors, bright colors, soft things. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
How cool would this be?
Yeah. Basket of fidget toys at every. Yeah. Nerf guns, but with some quiet spaces. Yeah. Yeah. That'd be so cool. And like, not just desks, but like other places to work, like beanbag chairs and.
Izza says weighted blankets. There you go.
Yeah.
A blanket basket.
Rolling whiteboards. Yeah. A supervisor who is a supervisor.
I don't even know what that means. Oh, and Scott is cooking blue.
Yay!
Very
That's awesome.
Cool.
Weighted blankets, standing desks. Yeah. I think probably everybody would have laptops. That way, like instead of desktop, so you could take the laptop to a standing desk if you wanted to, or you could go sit on the beanbag chairs. Or
a laptop with a tile attached. Excuse me. Every laptop would have a tile attached.
That's awesome. Rewards. Dog friendly. Yes.
You think Scott is expensive? Weighted blankets for employees.
Fair. An office that's not an open floor plan. Yeah. Oh, although there are times, I would probably do part open floor plan, part offices.
I like that too. Yeah.
Because, or part like with closed doors, because yeah, sometimes you need like to be in your own cubbyhole, and then sometimes like you need the accountability, like you need to be out and not be able to just mess around on your computer for hours without anybody noticing.
Bailey got a weighted blanket for her birthday. Bailey's mom, you're awesome.
Felicia says, I couldn't do open floor plan.
See, that's I don't know what I could even do, because I've worked in offices and I hated that, and I've worked in more like
a build your own fort desk area. Hiding holes for sure. Yeah. A boss who actually makes your work possible and not to control, knows better, do this my way, and so on. Yeah, I think, managers who micromanage are not good managers, in my opinion. Like, you've got to be able to bring out the strengths of each employee and trust that they know their job, they know how to do their job better than you do, and you're just there to facilitate their work.
Every time I've had to manage people, whether I've been directing something or I was executive producing or something, the first thing I'd do when I would be talking to the cast or crew or whatever is say, my only job here is to make you look really good. So tell me what you need, and I'm going to get you as much as I can. And there's going to be things I'm going to ask you to flex on because I can't get you that. But it will not be for lack of trying. I will put myself through the ringer to make sure you get whatever you need. And
noise canceling headphones.
There you go.
Oh, Rob Stan says, so that's the way my current office is, but I can't accomplish things with everyone making noise all the time. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Brett says, what you're confirming through this chat is there are no cookie cutter solutions. That's true. Rob says, I need quiet space to concentrate.
Here's what I think we really should do. Rather than having a central...
Ducky wants a rave room.
Rather than having a central office, which, I mean, people would have to commute and it just becomes frustrating. Let everybody work out of their home and do accountability stuff and send them a trampoline.
Okay, here's a question. Would you guys, if you had a choice, rather work from home or work in an office? Like, assuming that the office was ADHD friendly. Coloring books for the break room. Office both. Oh, that's a good point. Where if they need to work at home that day, they can. So there's a space they can go, or they can work at home that day. Yeah, lots of distractions at home.
I do like to work away from home, but I don't actually like working in an office. Because going to the same place every day bothers me.
But what if you had a place where you could go if you needed to, and you're not
I didn't
like
have to
stuck.
go?
Yeah, you could work from home, or you could go there.
I'd love that. Yeah,
interesting.
I'd love that very much. I guess if I had kids, I'd probably want to work away from home, only because I hate children. No, only because it would probably be very distracting, and you'd want to take care of the kids.
Bailey says a room where there's all useless stuff where you can go in there and just break everything when you're having a meltdown.
Oh, that would be good to have a meltdown room.
Yeah, I worked from home because I was able to hyperfocus too. Yeah, like having the option of like coming in or working from home, but like maybe there is stricter accountability if you work from home that day.
Agreed. Like, get to check in every hour or something.
That's maybe a bit much, because what if you're in a flow?
You should be able to say, in a flow, can't stop.
Scott says, Bailey Wheeler, patent that idea. Patent it. We need a crying meltdown room for sure.
If I can't get into a flow, I want to be around other people, because that does help me. If I get into a flow, I don't want people around. Like, I just, like, everyone leave me alone, no one distract me. I just want to sit in a room and continue to work until I realize how long I've been sitting still.
Ducky says, I just want to work on a psych floor where I can help people. So Ducky's job would just be to like go around making sure everybody's okay.
Yep.
And Ryan Whitehurst wants a stim room.
What's a stim room?
Like stimulation, like there would be different sensory inputs.
Neat.
Soft things, pretty things, good smelling things. I like that.
That's cool.
Palestrina agrees so much with you, Edward.
Yeah,
about hating children, or
is Steven's wife.
Yes,
she's the one that does the animations, and if it's not, once I'm in a flow, like,
were you going to take up more of the?
I was gonna, but I'm holding the puppy.
Oh.
Once I'm in a flow, it's really hard. Like, I get like angry if people interrupt me, just because it's like, it's frustrating. I don't know. It's very frustrating.
What else we got?
Let's see what else everybody's talking about, and then let's maybe let's wrap it after that, because I want you to get some rest and not talk.
Oh, right. I should do that, because I still have to voice these metaphors.
Yeah.
And not sound
I need
terrible.
her voice for tomorrow, guys, so I can't let her talk like forever and ever.
Thanks for stopping by, Brett.
It was so cool to see you. I'm sorry that you have to leave. Will you scroll down a bit, my love?
I'm trying.
To do it, just scroll in the empty gray space to the right. There it is.
No, but it's stuck, I think.
Well, that's probably because it's lagging. The system, not the... Whoop.
There we go. Ryan says, now I'm trying to think of how you could make reusable, breakable things. Yeah, Legos. That would get really expensive. Oh, Legos are good.
Yeah. Things that you can build, you can build.
People need to take off. We should probably wrap it up. If you guys have any... If you guys have any questions, we can take questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up.
I will be in the Discord after this to do some chatting, and also to post the photos from Mr. Rogers so you guys can see Jessica and I in red cardigans with the dog in a cardigan. Isn't he in a cardigan?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very cute. Either way, as always...
Yeah, going to Goodwill once a month and get stuff to break. That feels like there might be injuries that happen, though.
Yeah, that feels the same. Either way, guys, I just cannot tell you, as always, I really mean it when I say I'm just so grateful to you guys.
You're what makes all of this possible. Yeah. What makes us able to focus on our mission of helping the ADHD community above all else. You guys make that possible, so thank you so much.
And we're going to try to live up to that as much as we possibly can, and that means trying to get a video out before the end of May. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but I'm going to try. It's not good.
I'm never going to believe you again when you tell me something's doable.
Look, I go into it with the best of intentions.
You do every time.
But the other thing too is I really want to do that time one. That we have this one that's super long, but it could be so beautiful.
You might want to reach out to somebody else who might be able to animate it.
No, because I want to animate that one. Hi. It's so beautiful, and I really want to do it. Anyway, I have to.
I want to make sure we save this chat though, because you guys came up with some really cool ideas for like office stuff.
How do we save the chat? Doesn't it get saved?
I don't know.
Let me... other people...
It didn't used to be, but maybe now it gets saved?
No llores, Edward? I don't know what that means. No llores? Can we save the chat? toggle timestamps. Let me see.
Or we could just copy paste.
Enable chat, live chat, automatically spam.
We're just gonna try and figure out how to save this. So if you guys need to go, I
honestly don't know. I honestly do not know.
It's saved now.
Okay.
Oh, yay! Okay. Fantastic.
Right, cool. Fantastic.
Woohoo! Okay, cool. Well, thank you guys so much. Yeah, we'll pop over into the Discord if you guys want to keep chatting. Also, I think we found out like that if we do all the announcements and then chat, like there's nothing left to chat about. Like people want to chat during the announcements, so I don't know. We'll figure this out.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah,
that's nothing wrong with it. If we get all the same satisfaction in 30 minutes less, thank you, Stephen, so much for that.
Thanks.
All right, friends, I am going to switch over so that we can do the thing that we do.
And wish us luck on this next episode.
And yeah, I'm gonna go back to work.
All right, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you again. Bye, Brains.